Duffy. Harris.
Entering the final few laps, put the pressure on, go for the position.
In F1 2019, you'll be invited to start your career by selecting a Formula 2 team. Driving for this team, you'll experience some key moments of a Formula 2 season, a thrill-packed racing championship in its own right, and the springboard to Formula 1. At the end of this feeder series, your choice of driver academy and your performance in F2 will determine the terms of the contracts offered by the teams as you embark upon your career in Formula 1 and begin to write your own chapter of motorsport history.
Carlin's new driver really commanding the race here. Devon Butler still ruthlessly giving chase. These two have been really scrapping it out for the early wins in the championship. And something's wrong. Butler sees his chance. Some kind of mechanical failure. Picking up speed again. It's unclear what the issue was. Can they still finish this race?
Looks like an issue with the turbo. You've lost some speed at the top end, but you're very close to the finish. You can still compete and get some points here. Don't give up. Just do the best you can. We're all behind you. Teammate is approaching and wants to get past. Repeat, Lucas wants to pass you. That's great. Lucas can push on now. Lucas wants me to pass on his thanks. I know it's frustrating, but you made the right call for the team. Now we're all with you. Just bring it home as best you can. nice overtake. You've moved into P4, fourth place now. This is your final lap of the race. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
So as they climb out of the car, the Carlin team are ready and waiting to celebrate a thoroughly deserved win. Davide, what do you think made the difference here?
I think what won them the race was their ability to adapt. At every point, they delivered what was needed. They were calm and steady when they needed to be, but they were ruthless and aggressive when it was demanded of them. There wasn't anything out there that they weren't preparing to handle. Let's see if they can keep it up this season.
And there you have it, today's winners. Having raised some of the biggest names in F1 to date, Carlin have once again shown their expertise when it comes to recruiting new talent. No doubt today's winners have a bright future ahead of them. They certainly deserve it after today's performance. So then, it's time to see how this result affects the Drivers' Championship. The gap at the top of the championship has been cut down after a difficult race for our championship leader. And now, Davide Valsecchi, let me ask you, who is your driver of the day?
My driver of the day was Alessio Lorandi. He did a cracking job moving through the field, just showing why he's so highly rated in the paddock.
On to the teams then. Carlin moved to the top of the table. After all this drama, you'd be mad not to join us for the next race. We hope to see you then. Take care.
There you are. That was an exciting race. It definitely got people talking about you, which means I was able to secure a quick interview.
Okay, we're all set over here.
Just a minute. Remember, anything you say to the press can go very, very public. So be relaxed, but also be conscious of what you're saying and how it might come across to other people, okay? I think we're ready.
Great. So Emma keeps telling me you're the one to watch this season. If that's true, you'll be doing plenty of these. Just remember, be yourself. And the more you can give me, the better this will go. Right, stand here. Turn a little this way for me. Perfect. Ready? An exciting race today. Let's get your perspective. So you and Lucas are new to the team. How are you settling in? Okay, so how did you feel about being ordered to give up the position to Lucas? Great. Well, that's everything.
Hey, look. I know that wasn't easy letting me pass, but it was the right choice. It was good driving.
Yeah, that's how I describe it, mate. Just good, not great. 1 in 6. 1 in 6 makes the leap to F1. The other 5 are still watching their less talented teammates collect all their points. Shame, really. A lot of great drivers never get their chance because they do it all for the team.
Those teams got us here.
Yeah, but it's the drivers that take the risk. We should get the rewards. You ever won a race in F1? That's how winners think.
And remind me, how many F1 races have you won?
You watch this space. At the end of this championship, I'll be the one lifting the trophy, and I won't use my teammates to nick the podium.
Okay, I'm out. You believe what you want, Devon, but it's still early days.
He's either very clever or you're just a pushover. You really think if the situation was reversed, he'd do the same for you? You want to start looking out for yourself. No one else will.
Look at them go! Devon Butler locked in wheel-to-wheel racing with his championship rival, desperate to shut them down and stop them getting past. And there's contact! Butler simply left them nowhere to go. There was just no way for them to have avoided that. And look, there's significant damage. Not sure if that was down to recklessness or sheer aggression, but I'm sure the stewards are going to have something to say very shortly.
Don't give up. You're still in this race. Okay, the stewards have awarded Devon a penalty. Push on. You can still catch him. You can still beat him. Devon is coming in for a stop. Devon's currently in 6th place, P6. Devon is a couple of places up on you. Devon ahead. Butler ahead. Brilliant. Nice move. Good work, great pass. Nice move. Good job. Gap to teammate behind is 25.4 seconds. The drivers we're fighting here are Weber and Butler. This is your final lap of the race. Well done, good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
It was a magnificent race and a drive right out of the top drawer to take the win for Carlin today. So, Davide, what did you make of that?
Well, it was a bit of a roller coaster, I think. There will be a lot of cheering for today's win. Frankly, I'm amazed that Devon Buckley only received a penalty for that collision already. But watching the rival he knocked out actually come back and beat him, that made this whole race worthwhile for me.
As we can see, it's time for the podium, and I can see the Carlin team underneath our commentary box going crazy as their driver walks out. It was a great win, and it means a great deal to this team. After this round of the World Championship, here's how things look in the drivers' table. There's been a lead change at the top of the championship after a superb performance. And so, driver of the day then, Davide Valsecchi, who do you think you'd go for?
It's got to be Roberto Meri. He really deserved this result today. It was a fantastic drive.
And now a look at the team standings. Carlin have extended their lead at the top of the standings. There was also a strong showing from the Russian time team today as they make their way up the standings. Goodbye for now then, but we really are just getting started. Make sure you join us again for Lights Out tomorrow.
Good day today. Let's have your take on it. Well, that was a great recovery today. Did you think it was all over when you had the collision with Devon? So did you ever think you'd get the place back from Devon? I've seen that you and Lucas have been picking up a lot of points recently. What do you think of your championship chances? Great. Well, that's everything.
I was looking for you. Well, what can I say? I guess there's no other way to put this, but I'm sorry. I'm sorry for ever giving you the common respect that all racers deserve, because you don't deserve it, neither of you do. That was the dirtiest driving I've ever seen.
Ridiculous.
My thoughts exactly. I'm taking my line, and I get smashed into? I'm fine, by the way, thanks for asking me. And then, I'm penalized for the privilege.
You're unbelievable. You deserved every second of that penalty. Maybe more. I mean, aside from trashing the car, did you ever stop to think that maybe someone could get hurt?
Yeah.
Me? Fine. But winning at any cost is your strategy, not ours. You better watch yourself.
Whatever.
Don't let him get in your head. He knows you're a better driver. So, on the track, stay away from him. He will try to force you into contact. That's how he wins, yeah? Let's get ready for the press briefing.
So here we are in Abu Dhabi. Each and every event in the Formula 2 calendar has led us here to this, the final event of the championship, and one that promises to be a spectacle every bit as exciting as we might have hoped. Yas Island Circuit is a 3.4-mile racetrack built on the man-made Yas Island. In addition to the 21 corners, it features 2 very long straights. Now, these will be the drivers' main overtaking chances today into Turn 8 and Turn 11. Joining me for one last time here this year is Davide Valsecchi. Davide, I'm glad you're here because I think I'm going to need help processing all this. Surely, this is as exciting as it gets.
Yeah, you're right, Alex. It's the perfect finale. 2 drivers, rivals of season, now going into the final race tied on points. Both way out in front at the top of the standings. Meaning whichever of these 2 drivers cross the line first will be crowned champion. I can't wait.
Okay, this is it. Last race of the season. All you have to do is finish in the points ahead of Devon, and the next time we see each other, you'll be the F2 World Champion. No pressure then. Good luck. Devon's in P4 at the moment. next. Be careful if you go for the overtake. Great maneuver. You made it look easy. That's a strong start. Well done. Devon sat in P8. Devon's P7 at the moment. Devon's currently in 6th place, P6. Devon's currently in 6th place, P6. Devon's currently in 6th place, P6. Devon's currently in P5. right. Engine off, engine off. Devon's currently in P5. Devon's in P4 at the moment. Devon's in P4 at the moment. Devon's in P4 at the moment. Devon is in P3. Devon is in P3. This is your final lap of the race. We're leading our teammate by 11.6 seconds. is in P3. Good finish. You stepped up and achieved what we asked. Good job.
There were questions at the start of the season as to whether they could really go all the way, but there's no question anymore. What a special year it's been, and here they are, the new Formula 2 World Drivers' Champion. A great win then for the Carlin team today. Talk to me, Davide. Was it everything you hoped for?
Everything and more. He had it all. The rival, the tension, the excitement. These two drivers have been locked in fierce competition all season. And to see it comes down to head-to-head battle for the line like this, well, this kind of things doesn't happen very often. Devon put in a good performance throughout the championship, but today the accolade goes to his rival and the new Formula 2 champion.
That result also seals the Formula 2 World Championship title. Congratulations to our winner after an incredible season. We see a new name at the top of the championship table as we reach the end of the race weekend. Now then, Davide Valsecchi, who would you say was your driver of the day?
It's a difficult one, but I got to go for the Carlin driver. They fought so hard and had incredible pace at times, so I don't think anyone did a better job today.
So then, Carlin have done it. This result seals their victory, and they are team champions at last. And after all that excitement, I think it's time for a lie down. Thanks for joining us, and we'll see you when Formula 2 returns.
First of all, congratulations! You must be thrilled. Wow, you're the driver's champion. How does it feel? So that was a thrilling end to the season. How was the race for you? Wow, we've been hearing rumours of a possible future for you in Formula 1. Care to comment? Appreciate your time.
Congratulations, mate. F2 champion.
Hey, congratulations. Enjoy it, because it's the last time it'll ever happen.
Devin, it's okay to be upset. You came very close.
Yeah, we know things would have turned out very differently if I didn't get slapped with that ridiculous penalty.
What is it with you and complaining?
Look, somehow you managed to do a lot of things right today. That's great. You needed the win, I didn't. For me, this was always just a stepping stone to F1. Oh, you two, you got your work cut out for you now that I'm gone. See, you're gonna have to prove to everyone it was more than just luck that got you here.
Sure. Winning one race is luck. Winning the championship is talent.
Really? Next time you use that incredible talent to ram into someone and steal all their points, remember they won't be as forgiving as I am. Well, this has been a lot of fun. I gotta run. Yeah, things to sign, important paperwork and all that. I'm sure you understand. Ciao!
So, with this big win, you're going to be getting a lot of interest. All I can say is choose wisely, or else you might end up with someone like Devin as your teammate. Come on, let's go celebrate.
Ah, welcome. Come on in. Take a seat. It's time we had the big conversation about your next move. Your performance at the F2 Championships last year got you a lot of attention from the Formula One teams. Some of it more positive than others. I'm not so concerned with who does or doesn't like you. You'll have plenty of time to win the doubters over. But I am concerned with our choices. They're narrowing as we haven't shown commitment to anyone. Now, as your agent, my advice is to make your decision now. We can worry about comfort and finer points further down the line. I need you to review these. You've earned every single one of these proposals. So take your time, have a read through, and don't get too hung up on specifics. Let's get you a Formula One seat. Excellent choice. From my conversations with them, they're going to be very excited to pursue this opportunity with you. I'll let them know our intentions immediately. I'll have to clean up some final details with them, but that's what you pay me for. Other than that, congratulations. You've earned it.
Oh, hey, you're here. I'll catch up with you then. Sorry, I'm just on my way out, but your workstation's at the back over there. It should be all set up on the network, but let the guys know if it isn't. From there, you can access all the data you need to help us direct development of the car. Get yourself settled, and then head out to practice when you're ready. I'll catch up with you later, okay?
Welcome to your new team. McLaren are one of the most successful teams in the sport, and they've reinvented themselves over the past few years. They demand excellence from all areas of their organization, and they'll expect you to integrate yourself and get up to speed from the first race. Winning rivalries is a great way to earn respect from your team and around the paddock, which will help make it easier to negotiate favorable contracts. Your first rival is always your teammate, but you can choose who to declare as your second. The harder the rival from the eligible selection, the more respect you stand to gain or lose depending on the result.
Welcome to Melbourne and the inaugural event of the F1 2019 Championship season. The session is starting shortly and there's a real sense of anticipation in the air. A feeling that anything can happen this year, and if it does, well, this weekend could be the opening chapter to one of the most exciting F1 seasons ever. Joining me in the commentary box is, of course, Anthony Davidson. And it's great to have you back again. What can you tell us about this year's roster? There are some new faces this year, aren't there?
Absolutely, Crofty. There's been a number of interesting signings over the last few months. Where would you like to start?
Let's talk about Mia.
Right, well, this is definitely someone to keep an eye on. Well, they've been signed up likely in no small part due to the way they carried themselves in the Formula 2 Championship. They have a great track record of putting the team first. At one of the races, they even gave up their own position when their car had a technical issue, so that their teammate Lucas Weber, who also debuts here today, could get ahead. That kind of team spirit could take them a long way this season.
Those two aren't the only new faces from Formula 2 this season, are they?
No, this season will introduce fans to George Russell and Lando Norris, two very promising young British drivers. Plus, we'll meet Alexander Albon from Thailand, and finally, Devon Butler. Now, Devon was a bit of a controversial figure in Formula 2 last year. He racked up a lot of penalties over the course of the season, including one where he collided with his closest rival. It was an arsey clip. Now, certainly after the event, they were nothing but professional in terms of how they spoke about the incident with Devon, but it's hard to imagine them being as polite about it behind closed doors. I think this rival will be one to keep an eye on over the next few races, as both drivers take their first steps into the world of Formula 1.
This first race of the season is always quite difficult for us trackside, and for those back at the factory as well, as it's the first time the car has run since winter testing. The more consistent mileage you can get in these sessions, the happier we'll be.
In the unforgiving world of Formula 1, free practice sessions are a vital part of
Your goal is to get through as many corner gates as quickly and precisely as possible. Remember to activate your DRS in the DRS zone as well. Approaching the DRS zone, watch your MFD for the activation point. job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers. Don't worry about tyres, just give it everything. In this test, we want to make sure we can lap close to our rival's pace. Okay, you're in the top 10. Okay, test complete, and that was a very good job indeed. We got a lot of valuable information out of that. So far, our fastest lap is a 1:29.5. In this program, we want you to focus on fuel-saving technique. Lift and coast through corner entry to save as much as you can while keeping under the minimum lap time. If you want to know specific information or make certain changes to the car during a pit stop, you can tell me what you want over the radio. Press and hold the radio button to activate the system, and you can either speak the command or select it manually from the radio screen that will appear on the multifunction display. While the radio is active, cycle through command groups with the MFD button. We're 9th in the speed trap, 305.9 kilometers per hour. We need to be sure you can manage the tyres through a lap, so try to keep the wear down through each corner. Be especially careful accelerating on corner exit. Let's speed up. Our tyre data is no good unless we're doing a representative pace. If we don't get our... We've had to spend time repairing the damage to the car. So far, our fastest lap is a 1 minute 29.5. that beats our primary target time.
The session has drawn to a close, so let's review our top three. Mia, Bottas and Lewis Hamilton. What an incredible practice session. The fun doesn't stop here though. Join us again as the rest of the weekend unfolds.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. It's been a lot of hard work, but here you are making your day. So how are you finding things at the team? Are you settling in? What are you expecting out of this season? Great. Well, that's everything.
This is the ERS management test. Hit the target time whilst managing your battery charge. The more efficiently you use energy throughout the lap, the higher you will score. Remember that you can change your ERS deployment settings via the MFD. You've just put in the quickest lap of the session so far. Okay, we need a few solid laps here to help us calculate a good race strategy. Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused. lap. You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up. Okay, super job so far. We're getting great data. Stay focused. Great lap. You've nailed what we asked for. Keep it up. Okay, you need to come in before you run out of fuel. Pit within 2 laps. Front wing damage. Recommend you box for a new one.
There's a huge amount of time to be won and lost in the pits, but ensure that you don't get too greedy as you approach the pit lane speed limit line. On the approach, you'll see a notification of the pit lane speed limit and your distance to the limit line. If you cross this threshold too fast, you'll be given a speeding penalty, so be careful. There are valuable tenths to be won by getting it right though, so leave your braking as late as you dare. At the pit exit, it's important not to cross onto the racetrack before reaching the end of the white pit exit line.
Car repairs have set us back a little.
It's time to remind ourselves of our top 3, who are Mia.
Amazing performance out there. I'm sure you're pretty happy with that. You really went all out in practice today. Are you testing new components? You were flying in practice. Do you think you can carry this over to quality? Great. Well, that's everything.
Program complete and a job well done. We got some excellent data with that run, so come on back to the garage and I can talk you through the numbers. Our best lap so far is a 1:33.1.
And with all the cars now over the line, let's see our top three again. Bottas, Butler and Roman Grosjean. And if today's practice is anything to go by, we're in for an exceptional weekend of Formula One. We're just about ready to kick off today's qualifying here in Melbourne. It's the Australian Grand Prix. This is the kind of track that eats rear tyres for breakfast, or so I'm told by more experienced drivers than myself.
Lots of low-speed exits means the rears are in for a lot of punishment. It's all too easy to spin them up coming out of a corner too aggressively. It might look great for us as spectators, as we love to see a car driven beyond its limits, but it's not going to result in a great long-run pace.
Nice job.
We're all ready for tomorrow's race, but before we begin, let's have a quick look at those who will be fronting the grid. Bottas, Vettel and Max Verstappen. With qualifying wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
I think we can call that a successful qualifying. We should be in with a good chance in the race.
New drivers, new cars, it's a new Formula One season. But it's the same Albert Park that we've come to know and love for more than 2 decades now that plays host to round 1 of a 21-race championship that takes us from here in Australia across the globe and the eventual season finale at the Yas Island circuit in Abu Dhabi. We're a stone's throw from the enormous Port Phillip Bay for today's race at the 3.3-mile Albert Park circuit. It's a bumpy racing surface here, and the 16 corners could prove especially difficult in the wet conditions. Watch out for a safety car at some point during the Grand Prix. Once again, Anthony Davidson joins me for the race today, and it's a race where anything can happen as the rain is falling, grip and visibility is lacking. Could be something of a lottery out there, Ant.
Well, that's right. There's always an added element of unpredictability when there's standing water on the circuit. But one thing that might help them with the grip is a new softer compound full wet and intermediate tyre that Pirelli have developed for certain circuits. We'll be seeing these new tyres for the first time today, yet another unknown on an already unpredictable day.
It's time to see how our drivers